This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be talking to Eddie Redmayne about the Day of the Jackal. How are you, Eddie?
I'm good, Abe. How you doing, mate?
Good, good. I like watching your character in this show, but I don't think he's very likable. Do you
Oh,
find
good.
anything that you like about this professional assassin?
I mean, I I am really offended to hear you say that 'cause I find him quite gentle and kind and charming, even though he does ruthless things. Um, no, I mean, clearly there is something inside him that has been deeply traumatized, and has catalyzed this behavior, which the series begins to kind of unpick. But his behaviors there's a casual ruthlessness to it that I found terrifying. But I hope there is an element of charm, or trying to at least consolidate real love and humanity in his home life. And it's how he expects those two things to be able to live side by side that is the idea that they can somehow is borderline sociopathic.
I think he is deeply committed to his principles and the way he does his work, but it's
Yeah.
hard to know if that ever really can coexist with what I think is, as you say, sincere affection for the people he cares about. But you never know how far he would go in order to make sure that which part of his life is the more authentic and important one, you know?
Completely. And there is a there whereas the original book and film, it was very much good versus evil. You know, the Jackal was evil and albeit charismatic, and de Gaulle represented sort of good, I think. Um, I feel like we live in a different world now of moral ambiguity and gray areas, and I hope that each of these characters, whereas the Michael Lonsdale character in the movie was all good, here, Lashana's character Bianca, whilst being extraordinarily efficient and formidable, what she's willing to subject people to, and her moral ambiguity is also questionable. And hopefully both of these characters retain some sort of charm and vibrancy that compels audiences to them, whilst at the same time questioning why they're thinking that. And you kind of know that they're on a one-way collision towards each other.
How much did you look towards the book and past cinematic versions of this story for inspiration or to try something different?
Well, I grew up watching the movie. It was one of those VHSs, of which there are about three, in my family home, and it was well worn. And I think I watched it inappropriately young, when I was too young. And but there was something for me that I found about this. I love the genre, but also that this guy was an artist. He was creating these disguises, he was painting his hair, he was manipulating himself, and he was an actor in some ways. That was what, probably is what compelled me then, and certainly compelled me now. It was that the whole making of this was a sort of actor's playground, really. And all of those things that, when you're young, the reason you get into acting is to completely change yourself and play everything, all these extremes of characters. This was that. So it was an actor's dream.
Do you enjoy those physical transformations and the whole makeup prosthetic process?
I do. I love process, really. I love the craft of it. I love the teamwork element of it. And because you can't do any of these things in isolation. You can have a great prosthetic, but if that doesn't marry with a costume, or not only a body suit, but then that's been well sculpted, but also the physical work you've done, or the voice that you've prepared, like those things, or what it looks like on camera. So I've never what I found intriguing, both from a sort of producerial side and acting side, was working together with a team in which we all had to work in concert together, and learn from our mistakes. We were pretty meticulous.
Right. I know the show is 10 episodes long. Do you think that people should watch as much as they can all at once, or is it better to sort of divide it up and savor?
Good question. I am a binger. So I think the I hope that the story escalates, the tension kind of ramps and ramps and ramps, and I think by binging those first few, and then being able to tease out the last ones is probably the way it's being put out into the world, and I think that's kind of on purpose. So I would probably run with that.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Eddie. It was a pleasure to speak with you today.
Let's just speak to you too, mate.